Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard the New Hope Railroad. My name is Campbell, and I'll be your trainman today. And I'll give you a little narrative about the history of the area and about the railroad as we depart from the New Hope station bound for Lahaska, Pennsylvania. I'll be assisted today by our two car attendants, Frank and Craig, who will be coming through the train to get your snack and beverage orders. Also, our photographer today is David. He'll be taking photographs, if you'd like, once we get to Lahaska. I do have a couple of safety announcements as we're departing from the New Hope station. First of all, I'd like to ask you please remain seated as much as possible while the train is in motion. And also, please do not walk between the cars or stand in the vestibules while the train is in motion. We do have a couple of restrooms on board the train today. We have one restroom in the coach car at the north end of the car, and we have a restroom in the parlor car at the south end of the parlor car. We do not have a restroom in the dining car, which is the green crate plate car, and we obviously do not have a restroom in the open air car. For those of you sitting in the coach car, I ask that you please do not put your shoes up on the seats. However, if you do need to put your feet up, don't hesitate to take your shoes off. That way you can put your bare feet up on the seats. And also do not put your arms and legs or heads outside of the windows. We have a lot of tree limbs that have fallen down with all the weather this summer and the storms. I don't want anybody to get their eyes damaged or injured, or their heads or arms. Now, as we're departing from New Hope, now we're going to be crossing a trestle bridge, which we call Pauline Trestle. And that's because in 1914, they actually filmed a series of movies, black and white silent movies, in this area of Pennsylvania. And one of them was filmed on a trestle bridge just like this one. In this particular episode or scene, the actress that played the part of Pauline was Pearl White. She was tied to the tracks as a giant locomotive was speeding towards her. And just before she was going to be run over by the train, she was rescued by Harry. Now, if you look over here on the right-hand side of the train, we're passing by a 4-story building that looks like an old warehouse, but that used to be a water-powered grist mill. Now, they built 9 water-powered grist mills along this stretch of the Ingham Run River to our right between 1700 and 1790. That was one of them. These houses on the right, several of them, were renovated from the old mills. And I'll point out another mill coming up, which is going to be on the left-hand side of the track. So I mentioned there used to be a raging river over here on the right. Well, that was true until 1955. And in 1955, Hurricane Diane came through New Hope and it flooded the river on the right. It also flooded the Delaware River. And then when the water finally started going away, receding, all the water went down the Delaware and hardly any went down the Ingham Run River on our right. So all this left here is Hope Creek. So in the mid-1800s, the farmers and businessmen who lived here in Bucks County were anxious to have a railroad built. And their dream was finally realized in 1891. And so on March the 29th of 1891, the very first passenger train departed from the passenger station here in New Hope, bound for the Reading Terminal Station in downtown Philadelphia. You've all heard of the Reading Terminal Station, I think, at least the Reading Terminal Market. That's where the train station used to be.
The Reading Terminal Market used to be a train station.
So the Reading Railroad operated the trains on these tracks, and they had passenger train service between 1891 and 1952.
Wow, that's a really pretty house.
Then it was discontinued due to the lack of ridership. And then the freight service on this branch line was discontinued a decade later, so in the early 1960s. And then finally, in 1966, the New Hope and IvyLand Railroad was created, and our railroad purchased these tracks between New Hope and IvyLand in 1966, and we've been running our passenger trains and freight trains along these tracks ever since. We're coming up on the left-hand side of our train now. We're going to be passing by the remains of an old water-powered sawmill over here on the left. You can see it through the trees. The roof is caved in. But that also used to be, or is thought to have possibly been, a location where they filmed another scene from The Perils of Pauline. And in this particular scene, Pearl White, the actress, would have been tied to a conveyor belt moving swiftly towards a giant buzzsaw. And just before she was going to be sawed in half by the buzzsaw, she was again rescued by Harry. So remember, there were 19 films, 19 episodes in the series, The Perils of Pauline. In every single one of these were 15-minute films. In every single one of them, Pauline got herself into a life or death predicament. She was always rescued at the last minute by Harry. Now on the left-hand side of our train, we're passing by what's left of a mansion called the Hopnagel Mansion. This is where the Hopnagel family lived. It was originally built in 1705 as a farmhouse, so it's one of the oldest houses in the New Hope area. One of the most famous of the Hopnagels was the chief engineer when they built the Delaware Canal, which runs right through New Hope. That was between 1827 and 1832. Okay, so we do occasionally see wild animals on our trips to Alaska, so keep your eyes open for deer, wild turkey, or fox. But you do have to look quickly because they get scared away by our horn from the engine, from our locomotive. We haven't really seen any today so far, so keep your eyes open. We might on this trip. Coming up on the left-hand side of the train, we're going to be passing by a concrete wall, which was the foundation for one of the important businesses along this route. Here it is to the left. And this was the Pennsylvania Shale Brick Company. They made very sturdy shale bricks by the thousands at this company between about 1915 and 1935, including those used in the construction of the Empire State Building. And they printed the letters NH on each brick standing for New Hope. So if you're ever walking around the outside of the Empire State Building in Manhattan, look up and see if you can see the NH on the side of the building anywhere. Unfortunately, the Pennsylvania Shale Brick Company did go bankrupt during the Great Depression in the mid-1930s. Now, it's very interesting to note that as we're going through the countryside here that looks like forests, there used to be a lot of farms on both sides of our tracks, primarily dairy farms. This was dairy farming country. These were small, family-owned dairy farms, and one of the largest and most important families that owned dairy farms was the Reeder family, R-E-E-D-E-R. And our next railroad crossing, coming up in just a minute or two, is Reeder Road. Reeder Road. And the most important member of the Reeder family was probably Eastburn Reeder, and he was Pennsylvania's first food and dairy commissioner. So he was a politician in Harrisburg who was not only a dairy farmer but also supported the dairy industry, and he liked to drink milk. But he also was a stockholder in the railroad that was building the tracks between New Hope and Philadelphia. He thought he was a pretty important person and deserved to have a railroad station here at Reeder Road. So as you'll be able to see in just a moment, there is no railroad depot or station at Reeder Road, but there did used to be a small shelter here. And in this shelter was a flag. So if there were any passengers to get on the train here at Reeder Road, they would wave the flag at an approaching passenger train. The engineer in the locomotive would blow the whistle and stop the train for them and let them get on. And this was known as a whistle stop or a flag stop, right here at Reeder Road. So that's the best the Reading Railroad was able to do for the Reeder family. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the cars that you're riding in today, these passenger cars. Now we've got 4 cars on our train. One of our cars is a green dining car, which we call the Crater Lake car, and that's what we're using today as our first class car. But it was built in 1949 and has nothing to do with the Reading Railroad. It was actually a Union Pacific dining car built in 1949. But it was purchased by the New Hope and IvyLand Railroad about 3 or 4 years ago, and we use it as part of our dinner train and special weddings and special occasion train. So it's one of our special cars that we don't always use every day. The other 3 cars used to be coach cars, operated by the Reading Railroad, and they were built between 1913 and 1927. They were built by the Bethlehem Shipbuilding Company in Wilmington, Delaware. And they're all built of steel, except for the floor, which is 6 inches of poured concrete. And that was necessary to maintain a center of gravity at speed, because without the heavy floors, these train cars were so top-heavy that they would fall over in a curve, and they were making a curve. Some of these coach cars still retain their original mahogany woodwork in their interior. And they were used by the Reading Railroad as coach cars in commuter service around Philadelphia until they were sold to the New Hope and IvyLand Railroad in the year 1966. Our locomotive today is number 8218, which is a GP9 series diesel locomotive made in 1957 specifically for the Canadian Pacific Railroad by General Motors of London, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, wow.
Now the Canadian Pacific Railroad used this locomotive to pull its passenger trains and freight trains all across Canada for over 60 years, and it was finally sold to the New Hope and IvyLand Railroad in the year 2015, and we use it basically to pull our passenger trains and freight trains. It's really in good shape. Now we're coming to our next railroad crossing now at Aquitong Road. Slowing down to make sure that the lights are working and the gates are crossing the road here. Want to make sure it's safe for us to cross the intersection. Lots of cars here. So this is Aquitong Road. Well, Aquitong is a Delaware Indian word which means spring in the bushes, and that's because about 700 years ago, the Lenni Lenape Indian tribe lived in this area, and they built their village above an enormous underground spring over to the right, where they had an almost unlimited supply of water for their cooking, eating, and drinking needs. And then in the 1700s, this area was known as the colonial period, or this was known as the colonial period, and this area was known as Paxton's Corner, named after a prominent area family, the Paxton family. Now the Paxtons built their very first farmhouse in 1748, and they called their house Rolling Green. They actually called it a mansion, so it was the Rolling Green Mansion. The Rolling Green Mansion still exists today. It's a privately owned home, and it's located near the corner of Aquitong Road and Highway 202, about a mile and a half to our right, west of here. So then about the middle 1800s, people moved into this area and a small village has sprung up. And by 1884, the first area post office opened up in town. Now you can see some nice houses coming up on the left-hand side of our train. One of my favorite houses is coming up shortly. listen to it.
Yeah.
Now we're coming to our next railroad crossing. So when this train comes to a railroad crossing, it's by law it has to blow the horn in a particular pattern. So it blows the horn with two long blasts first, and then a short blast, and then a third long blast. So two long blasts, one short blast, and then one long blast. And that's required by law for all railroads in North America when they come to a railroad crossing in order to warn cars and trucks and pedestrians and horses and buggies that our train is coming and that we have the right of way, so they have to get off the tracks. That doesn't always work, unfortunately. But our train cannot stop as quickly as a car can. So that was Lower Mountain Road. And coming up on the right, in just a couple of minutes, we're going to be passing by an old stone farmhouse, which was built in 1844, and which is thought to have possibly been a stop on the Underground Railroad. Now, as you know, the Underground Railroad era was between about 1830 and 1860, when people of Pennsylvania and Bucks County, especially the Quakers, were helping escape slaves from the South. They treated them in the North through a series of secret paths, tunnels, and trails, and under the cover of of secrecy. So you can imagine the slaves hiding out in the basement of this house over here to the right. During the day, where they would be sheltered and fed, and then at night, when it was dark and safe for them to travel, they could be escorted further north, and then all the way up into Canada for 3 days. Apparently,
Wow, look at that. Your driveway
able
has
to
a
get
railroad.
about 100,000 ex-slaves through the Underground Railroad in that 30-year period between 1830 and 1860. Now on the right-hand side of our train, we're passing by an old dairy farm known as the Bradshaw Farm.
Look at all these pine trees.
Any cows anymore because the dairy operation ceased about 20 or 30 years ago. But it is an active farm. They grow crops including corn, alfalfa, and soybean. And they also grow a lot of trees for the local nurseries. And you can see up there on the top of the hill is the red barn where they used to milk the cows. This farm is now preserved by law against any future land development.
Ah.
It can never be sold to anybody except as for use by a farm, and it can't be a shopping center or a housing center. Our next railroad crossing coming up is at Street Road. And if you were to drive Street Road, down Street Road to the right, you'd run right into Peddler's Village in about 1.5 miles or 2 miles. So we're very close to Lahaska, and the Lahaska train station is coming up right after we cross over the Street Road railroad crossing. So we're almost at Lahaska train station, and the town of Lahaska is to our right. We've got a lot of cars here. They all get to stop for the train. So we're
McMansion.
going to stop at the Lahaska train station for about 5 to 7 minutes. Our locomotive is going to uncouple from the front of the train and is going to get on to the siding track, which
Hey,
is to our left.
that Jaguar was at the last
You
train
can see the
stop.
siding track to our left. And then it's going to go to the other end of our train, the north end of our train, which is where the open air car is. And it's going to recouple to the north end of our train so that it can pull us back to New Hope. So that process is going to take about 5 to 7 minutes. Now when they have got us all coupled up, I'll come through the train starting in the open air car, and I'll be punching your souvenir tickets. You should have been given a souvenir ticket in the ticket office. If you don't have one, that's the next week. Also, our photographer is going to be with me and would be glad to take a picture, a souvenir picture of you for you to take home. Now, when the locomotive comes by on the left-hand side of our train, I'd like to have everybody please wave at the engineer and at the conductor as they're sitting in the locomotive. Make them feel happy and appreciated and wanted. And That way, we're pretty sure that they'll couple to the north end of our train and pull us back. Otherwise, you know, if they feel grouchy and you haven't managed to cheer them up, there is the possibility that they'll go all the way back into New Hope and we'll have to walk back. But it's only a 4.5 mile walk.
Oh, man. Ah. The train's gonna come by.
I'm gonna I'm facing this way so I can catch the train going by.
He's gotta get to, oh, yeah, I have to get him to punch the ticket. Here. Can you, yeah, can you hold these out so he can punch them for us?
There's like no Pokestops for miles in here.
Well, he's busy. Oh, there it comes.
Yep,
All
he's
right.
coming. Wave, everybody.
There it goes. William, get your head in. Get your head in.
Yep, that's right. Don't get hit by the train.
Thank you.
Want a picture today?
Yes.
Everybody together, yeah. We had to get everybody together, you know what I mean?
Do you want us to take a picture?
That's okay, we can still get a nice picture, get everything. Alright. Alright, so we'll get everybody together. Alrighty. There we go. And. Alright.
With you.
Alright.
There you go.
And can I put you up for like my phone? Thank you. Leah, watch out. She's coming
Here it
back.
comes.
Thank you very much. Yeah. There it goes. Better sit down.
We better sit down.
Go sit down. Let me get it. Sit down. Here, give me a ticket.
All right.
See? There he goes. Here it goes. And here it goes.
And oh, up there it is. Up, it's hooked. Yes, they do.
Yep. Matt, you want to give me your ticket? Because I had it in like a little thing to keep it nice and neat. Okay, thank you. Oh, well.
That was even
not very sunny for my sunglasses.
I took my sunglasses off. See? Climbs right up. Here we go. And now, like, the clouds are getting like. And now the clouds are just getting that right here where they get that excessive.
Now I have to put them back on.
Yeah, like I just said, now the up. Oh my God, look how it's moving. Ah!
its headquarters in Philadelphia in 1833. So it was one of the very first railroads that but the Reading Railroad was a regional railroad. It only had tracks in 4 states: Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland. So outside of those 4 states, hardly anybody had ever heard of the Reading Railroad until 1937. And that's when the monopoly game was introduced. After 1937, apparently everybody started playing Monopoly worldwide. And they knew that they could buy and sell 4 railroads on the monopoly game. One of the railroads was the Reading. What were the other 3 railroads? Well, they would have been the Pennsylvania Railroad, the Baltimore, Ohio Railroad, and the Short Line Railroad. Now, a little bit of trivia here for you. First of all, the Short Line was not a real railroad, and that was a term for a short railroad. And in this particular case, the railroad they were talking about was actually called the Atlantic City and Shore Line Railroad. It's a small railroad that was about 35 miles between Atlantic City and Ocean City. And it doesn't exist anymore. It was only in existence for about 20 or 30 years. It's like a streetcar more than a real railroad. Another little bit of trivia was that the 2 people who developed the Monopoly game were 2 brothers from Atlantic City. And so, of course, they chose the railroads that actually went to Atlantic City and arrived at their stations. So those were the Reading and the Pennsylvania and the Baltimore, Ohio, and then, of course, the Atlantic City and Shore Line Railroad was the 4th. So when the Monopoly game became famous and introduced, and everybody started playing Monopoly, then the Reading Railroad became famous. That didn't help them make any more money, unfortunately, because they did go bankrupt in 1972 or so. And nowadays you can't find any more railroad cars with the name Reading on them, except for museums. Amtrak started in 1971, and they took over all of the intercity passenger trains. Now those were intercity, not necessarily suburban or commuter trains. So none of the railroads that were operated, none of the trains operated by the Reading Railroad were taken over by Amtrak. That includes the only train that was an intercity train operated by Amtrak was a train between Philadelphia and Jersey City, New Jersey, which is right across the Hudson River from Manhattan. And it was called the Crusader. And it was a streetline train starting in the 1930s through the early 1980s, or actually 70s, because the Reading Railroad didn't operate it in the late 70s. But it went between Philadelphia and Jersey City, and it went through places like West Branch. So it actually went through, I live in Yardley, Pennsylvania, so it came through Yardley, Pennsylvania, which is about 7 or 8 miles from here, near Newtown. This house on the left is one of my favorite houses. It's a typical summer house, 7-car garage, 4-story building with a indoor swimming pool in the basement. The original owner of that house was a wealthy Swiss art dealer. I come over in about 2 weeks every summer in that house. And then on the left-hand side, coming up, we're passing by a 4-story building, which is now an apartment building, but it used to be a water-powered gristmill and was originally built in the 1700s. Just like it's been renovated extensively now. And here we are over Pauline's Trestle Bridge again. And we're coming back into New Hope. So on behalf of the New Hope and IvyLand Railroad, we'd like to thank all of our passengers today for traveling Texas, all the way to Alaska. We hope that you've enjoyed your time on board our train, and we look forward to seeing you again in the not-too-distant future. When we get to the station, I'd like to have everybody please remain seated until the train does come to a complete stop. And you hear one long blast from our locomotive engineer indicating that it is safe for you to stand up and to exit the train. So we'll be exiting our train today from two locations. One will be from the coach car, and the other will be at the open air car. Those were pretty much where you got off the train. So please wait until one of our crew members can help you get off the train. And don't stand up until you hear the blast from our locomotive horn. Thanks again, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day and New Hope or wherever your final destination will be. Thanks again.
Hey, Ocelot's hanging out at the station. Ocelot is hanging out at the station. I just found an ocelot. Son of a bitch, he ran away.
Wait up, sit down. You gotta wait. I can't believe you got
Leo, don't run on the train. Don't run on the train.
I wasn't. Say what? I saw it. Say what? I saw it. Say what? I saw it. Say what? I saw it.
Okay. Be careful when you walk over the thing.
All right, watch your step as you get over the gap there. There you go. Thank you.
It was really nice sitting in there.
Good.
The weather was nice. It wasn't too hot.